we are at an event. We're in Summerville, Georgia. This was a ribbon cutting for a sustainability move. Solar panels on the roof here. Tell us about what this event was, and also about this facility, which is a unique facility into itself.
Oh, the Summerville facility is fantastic. To me, it's our flagship sustainability site. Always has been. Today's occasion is roughly 1,400 solar panels on the roof, and that's in conjunction with Georgia Power and Constellation Energy and United Renewable Technologies. That's a mouthful for me, I'm sorry. And we are putting 628,000 kilowatts to the grid from this location.
Now, talk about this plant. There's some pretty unusual things happening sustainability-wise in this plant.
There's always been unique things going on at Somerville. We've been in operation here under the Mohawk umbrella since 1999. The facility itself since 1989. So way before you and I were talking about sustainability, Somerville was in operation. It is the largest integrated recycling plant that I know of, meaning that the bottles come in from the back in bale form and they go out in a final product. It's not chip going somewhere else to be processed. It's actually into a fiber at the end. And as you know, for years this was a staple facility. And over the last several, which a lot of capital investment from Mohawk, it has turned into 100% BCF. And that BCF can be 100% recycled content. That's what's unique. It's never been done before. It's proprietary to us. It took a lot of ingenuity. It took a lot of innovation. But that's what's keeping Summerville going and expanding.
Now, one of the things Brian talked about was the stream that comes into this plant and where it comes from and the volume. That was mind-boggling.
Yep.
Talk about that.
Always has been. Yeah, we use multi-stream recycling coming through here, and we purchase from all over North America. So if you're putting it on your curb, there's a very good chance it comes to Summerville. All right, and it's the #1 PET. So when you flip over your bottle, it says a 1, not the 2s or the 3s or the 7s, but the 1s. They come here, and that's really kind of the way we've always done it. We used to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 billion bottles, and now we're approaching 5 billion bottles. That's a lot, and it's a good chunk of the stream in North America that comes here.
And this is the curbside from all over the country.
Right, North America. So include Canada and Mexico in that, mostly Canada. But yeah, and it's a global market. Bottles are a global market, plastics are a global market, but we found over the last several years that some of the large exports to China and other countries, because of their legislation around waste coming in, have stopped. So it's actually made it a little bit easier for us, but frankly it's still a very scarce market. I mean, we compete heavily for bottles and sometimes can't get as many as we want. So we need you to do more recycling. We need everybody else to do more recycling.
I'm going to drink a bottle of water here just in just a minute.
Just make sure you put it in the right place.
Just to try to do my part.
Thank you.
Now, did I hear somebody say that you don't do tours at this plant? Is that something that people don't come through and see?
Well, since we brought in the continuum innovation, we have kind of cut down the tours. We used to do a lot of tours through the facility, and the staple process was relatively simple. Because of the innovation of continuum, we have kind of stopped that.
Talk about continuum again and refresh our listeners on that.
Well, BCF is the continuum process, which is a continuous filament, right? And it is a very sensitive product to produce. So if you have any variation in a BCF, you're going to see it in the carpet. It's going to streak. It's going to go dark or light, and you're not going to be happy unless it's intentional, right? So staple was much more forgiving. So when you would bring in a recycled product and there was any kind of variation in the polymer itself or the size of the strand that was coming through, it would even itself out. It's a blended process, if you will. BCF is not. So continuum allows us to take something that has traditionally always been 100% virgin, very tightly restricted and guarded, and bring in recycled content into that. And to be able to bring it as something over what traditionally has been really not over 25%, up to 100%, very unique, obviously proprietary, and probably one of the biggest innovations outside of Smart Strand that Mohawk Industries has done.
And that's why you don't send people through, because you don't want people like me to film that.
I certainly don't.
I-
Not that you would tell anybody, Dave.
No, I would keep it a secret, but at
Right,
least I had to ask.
Right.
Talk about the company's sustainable vision. And I guess what I'm interested in is this obviously fits in a major way, but talk about the company's vision sustainability-wise, if you would.
Okay. Well, Mohawk Industries is a global company, and we are in a lot of markets, and we make a lot of products. And at the end of the day, we are a for-profit company, right? So what we have positioned ourselves for sustainability is doing the right thing for the business as well as for the environment and the communities in which we work. I am the first to tell you that sustainability attributes and the things that we go after, whether it's energy conservation, water conservation, raw materials, recycling, any of that, has a bottom line impact. Okay? Sustainability makes good business sense, and that's how we look at things. We are never going to undertake an initiative just to do it. It has to be defensible from a financial standpoint as much as doing the right thing, and we've always been that way, and it's worked for us.
Do you think people understand that? I mean, do you think most people feel that sustainability isn't necessarily good business? I get the idea that they don't, but I don't know.
Phrase it a different way. I'm not sure where you're going with that question.
Well, I'm wondering if people that buy carpet,
Mm-hmm.
they see that you're environmentally friendly. I think more people see that as you're sacrificing something to generate that product, which makes you a good citizen, but they don't necessarily see that that's a business decision for you, and that reflects on the bottom line. It may be an advantage from a public relations standpoint, but that's not the motive.
I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I think, and maybe I give consumers a lot more credit and sophistication. And market segments are different. Don't get me wrong. If I look at the commercial segment, it's expected. It's expected that your corporate responsibility and your sustainability is up to par with their expectations and their values. Okay. If I look at consumers coming into the market, the younger generation, if you will, I think it's also expected. As well as if they're going to come to work for Mohawk Industries, they expect to have shared values. Right? If they recycle at home, they want to recycle at work, period. End of story. Now, there are categories of consumers that maybe think it's a lower quality to have a recycled product, or don't give it as much credence as others. But I think that's decreasing, and I think a lot of that is just frankly education. I don't think a lot of people truly understand what sustainability is. They think of only environmental attributes. They don't think of social, and they don't think of financial, which are the pillars of sustainability. They just think green, which if we could just completely lose the term environmentally friendly, I'd be a very happy person. Okay, but it is holistic, and I think it's the way you go about doing your business. To me, it's no different than back in the days when quality became top of mind and the Deming attributes came in. It is the right way of doing business because you are looking at the complete picture instead of one or two things.